It's episode 1 of a new season of the Real Life Caddie podcast, and in this episode I'm joined by Mike Zabbo to discuss what we have planned for the new season. However, like all good caddies, we talk a great game, but we promise nothing. In Caddie Stories, we tie up loose ends from the previous episode, Zabbo talks about how miserable it's been working in the rain, and Big G got the sack. Yes, I got the sack, so everyone will enjoy that story. We also start off our series of episodes where we give you, the listener, tips on how to improve your golf game from a caddie's point of view. This episode, we cover chipping. As always, we answer listener mailbag questions and give out notable mentions. If you have any questions or comments, please send them in on social media or via email, podcast@glorifieddonkey.com. We really appreciate you listening and hope you enjoy this episode and the upcoming season. Okay, so we're back. New season. It's season 5 of the Real Life Caddie podcast, and this is episode 103. I'm joined by partner in crime, Michael Zabbo. Welcome back, Michael.
Good to be here. Glad we're back here in the studio.
Yes.
Back at it.
We're also joined by Cody. Junior's here. He's on the new Roadcaster.
He is. We got a whole new setup here, and we're getting it figured out. I'm liking where it's at. You know, I can hear myself talk. I got headphones on.
It's good.
Yeah, I look like a professional.
You look like, well, we look like a professional outfit. So we got a new season. Okay, what we're going to be bringing people?
Oh, we're going to be bringing people more what they love, which is Caddie Stories. We're going to bring Caddie Stories from our perspective, great Caddie Stories that we encounter on the golf course. And I think the last episode went over quite well, our 100th episode. We're going to be bringing Caddie Stories and golf stories from other people's point of views.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of good ones lately on my loops in the last couple months that I'm just dying to get them recorded and shared. Mm-hmm. It's going to be great.
In the next couple of weeks, we'll have a new theme tune. To start.
I'm very excited about that. Yes. I like it.
Yes. This is something I've been looking at for about a year and then finally remembered.
It's a good one.
Oh, that guy could make music, so that'll be coming. We're also going to be bringing a series of episodes which will hopefully join into the YouTube channel about improving your game.
We are. I'm excited about that. I think I told you it was your first loop back this year. I mean, you came back from France, and I was like, Gordon, I'm sick of it. And you're like, what's up? I was like, I'm sick of these hacks that come back year after year. They play golf 3-4 times a week, and they never get any better. They have the same problems. They can't chip. They can't putt. They can't hit their irons. And they spend, $50,000, $100,000 a year at this country club membership, and they're still a 15 handicap. It drives me nuts.
And they still
drives me nuts. We're going to make you better. We're going to help to make you a better golfer.
So during that loop, I said to Michael, I said, you know what I've always wanted to do? I said I wanted to pair up the YouTube channel and bring a series of videos. You don't have to be spending 50 to 100,000 on a country club membership, by the way. You could be playing your local muni. But we will help you improve your golf game. And some of these tips, you don't even have to go and practice. It's just from a caddie's point of view.
Yeah, little tidbits. I mean, practice always helps. But some little pointers can really help you out.
And in this episode, we will be kicking things off, kick that series off with the information about chipping. It's actually straight from that loop you're talking about.
Yep, my favorite aspect of the game, really.
One thing we've been talking about the last few weeks as well is starting what they call a Patreon account.
Yes.
So a Patreon account, if you don't know, is a way that you can help us out, throw some grease our way. You can pay monthly. You can pay once a year.
Yeah, we are caddies. You know how much we like grease. So, I mean, it's time to monetize this thing.
Exactly. And what will happen is we'll use that money to go towards a lot of improvements to being probably more regular with the podcast. Yeah. Every 2 weeks.
Allow us more time to do it, Make Mrs. Zabbo happy too.
That's it. And then hopefully get this YouTube thing really kind of going this year, because we need to take time off. We need to obviously cover Junior's costs. And
we want to bring good content to people.
I'm bringing the content. Mm-hmm. So we are caddies. That's the plan, is to bring you all that stuff. I'm not, no promises, but, we'll certainly try.
Of course.
This episode, I never mentioned, it's called You're Sacked. Now, we'll get to that later on, but we, as always, we start off with Caddie Stories.
Yeah, and you've been gone. You've been gone for like a month. You just got back.
I did.
And our last official episode we did with Beemer. And,
yes.
And Beemer had, you had high hopes. You're like, oh, we're gonna win this thing. And Beam's wife was like, we're just trying to make the cut. And so how did your week with the Beemer go?
It was excellent, actually. Let me think. The highlights of that week, like you say,
Did he win the tournament?
Negative. It was kind of amusing. I, for some reason, thought, oh, this guy might have a chance of doing something in this thing. No, absolutely. He had no intention whatsoever of making the cut.
Yeah, he doesn't live that kind of lifestyle anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Let me say, if you ever get a chance to play with Richard Beam, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, no doubt about that.
But if he's your pro, you ain't going to win nothing.
Yeah.
However, it was a very easy week for me. Drove a golf cart.
Nice. Love a good golf cart.
Yeah, and then he knows his game, and he couldn't care less. The final day was interesting. He started the day. I thought this is where I thought, oh, he's onto something here. Mm-hmm. He started the day eagle, birdie, so he's 4 under through 3.
Wow, 4 under through 3.
Yeah. Now, 2 weeks before that tournament, I was caddying for or in a group with Kirk Triplett.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
He's a pro golfer, and he obviously didn't really remember me. But on the third hole we're playing, I guess it's a drivable par 4 if you're long enough.
At the wee course, right?
And I said to Beemer, "Hey, listen, I'll go out front, hit it over my head. I'll wave you when we're good." So I get out there, I see the guy's Kirk Triplett's putting.
Yeah, he's on the green. I mean, if he gets it there, he's going to maybe roll it up on him.
340.
Yeah, as the crow flies a little less, but yeah.
325 maybe?
Yeah, it's probably 310 as the crow flies.
I'll wave Beemer up. On you go, let's go. And he hits it straight over my head with a wee draw. It lands. It's rolling at the green. And it rolls straight through Kirk Triplett's legs as he's putting.
Yes.
Rolls up to 8 feet. He did make the birdie, missed the eagle. Kirk Triplett had no idea who I was when I went up to say, my apologies, that's all I mean.
He didn't look back at you and say, hey, Big G.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. The other thing that happened, this is how the other half live, boys, were day one, the way this tournament goes, there's a pro and are there 4 amateurs?
Yeah, it's fivesome, so yeah. 4 amateurs and a pro.
So there was one guy in this foursome who, very, very wealthy, he has his own plane. And on the Thursday night, Beamer's texting me, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow night. You want to go? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to go. We were just back from Arizona. I was thinking, no, I don't want to go to Vegas. Yeah. I said, well, I'll play in your place then. Because I thought
this is the tournament.
This is how far away I'm even thinking. This is not on my radar. And I see him the next day and I said, okay, so do you want me to play in your place? He says, what are you talking about? I says, well, you're going to Vegas. He goes, no. We're just going for the night.
You're going like that night and coming back that night.
I'm coming back that night. So this guy, who is a high roller, he obviously loses enough money at the casino.
Yeah,
that everything's
get out
paid
here,
for.
buddy. Get out here. Yeah.
Come on out here.
We got you covered.
And this guy decided that 7:30 on a Friday night, take the jet from Monterey, fly to Vegas, have a nice, dinner on the casino.
Crazy.
Lose a bunch of money, have a few drinks, fly home, 2:00 in the morning, and tee off at 10. But how the other half
did Beemer have fun?
He had a great time. It obviously affected his game. But,
so you did not make the cut.
Even if he'd made the cut, he wouldn't have played in the Sunday. He had no interest. So that's about all I have. As you say, I was away. I missed all of the rain. Correct?
Oh man, did you miss some rain? It was crazy for the listeners who don't live in our area. I mean, we had a month straight of crazy rain. Actually, you didn't miss all of it. You were here for the early part of it because it's a slip and slide out there with how wet it got. Mm-hmm. And I was working with you at the wee course when I slipped and fell twice on the same hole. Mm-hmm. Fell down, went right down on my ass. I mean,
You went down twice.
Yeah, it's slippery out there.
For anyone with a dirty mind, easy now. It wasn't that kind of going down.
It wasn't. No.
Zabbo, you hit the deck twice. I actually said to you, I says, we should not be carrying golf bags. We should have these on a buggy.
Yeah.
Because when you're adding an extra 50 to 70 pounds on your shoulders. It's dreadful.
Yeah.
But it literally, I was gone for 28, 30 days. It rained,
Most of them.
Pretty much every day.
Yeah. I sent you pictures. I mean, you posted those pictures. A lot of people saw those. I mean, it was greens were underwater. Fairways just soaking wet. Balls plugging almost every shot. It was just, I mean, the courses were open and people were playing, but it was a zoo. Zilikoski was out. He played through some of the worst of it.
Would you, if you owned the course, would you have closed it?
No, I'm a caddy. I like money.
No, but you know, but from a, because it looked to me as if it was pointless.
Well, I agree. I mean, but the courses, no damage was really caused other than the trees that came down. We lost a lot of trees. I mean, granted, some of those days I wouldn't want to be out there with the trees coming down just for your safety. I mean, obviously that tree comes down and you're near it, you could die. But yeah, the courses, I was surprised because I figured come AT&T time, they'd still be underwater and unplayable, and it's actually dried out quite nicely. I mean, they're playable. Greens are fast. I think it's going to be a good tourney.
I got to be honest, it's drained away quite nicely, but that's what you get with links golf. However, it was an incredible amount of rain.
Oh, crazy!
Probably more rain in the last 6 weeks than the last 6 years, huh?
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, certainly this was. I've lived here 16 years. That was the most rain I've ever seen in any one year, and that was in a month period.
Now, we did call this when you're sacked. And the reason for this is because my first look back, I got what we call in the UK the rude hullet, the bullet.
You did. You got canned. And
I got canned.
Before we get into the specifics, I just want to ask you how you feel about this. Like, do you think it was just was it him or was it you? Was there rust? Do you think you just had like rust from being off for so long and you weren't on your game?
I think you always think that. Now, to say that I'm completely not bothered would be a lie. And to say that I was deeply affected would be a lie as well. Right, because it's water off a duck's back. What I would say was I was somewhat perplexed. I was not. So we'll put it in context. This is a Zabbo loop. He knows this guy from LA. I was going to say something else, but he knows a guy from LA who has a professional athlete as one of his foursome.
Yeah, let me just set it up. I mean, I know this guy, and I've caddied for him numerous times, and I was booked. This was a tournament. I was booked on this tournament like 4 months ago, and this guy calls me up a week before, and I was already booked with another group, and he calls me up. He's like, Zabbo, I'm coming in. I got this guy coming who came last year. We're not going to mention names, but he's an NFL Hall of Famer. You're going to caddy for me, and I need you to set up another caddy. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm already booked. He's like, Zabbo, I'm going to pay you way more than that other guy's going to pay you. You're looping for me. Find another caddy. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You are going to pay me more. So I had to come up with an excuse to ditch the other guy, and off we went.
What was that excuse? How do you do that?
I mean, honestly, I don't think he listens to the podcast, but I was like, I had this guy booked on my other calendar, and I didn't put it in this calendar. And, it was there in the calendar, but I didn't really know. And then my wife put it in this calendar, and I got confused, and it was like 6 months ago. And
Now, how many caddies have one calendar, never mind two calendars?
I don't use a calendar. Are you kidding me? But, so that was my excuse. And then I was like, Big G's back in town. It's going to certainly hook a brother up. I know it's going to be a good loop, so. Yeah. Off we went, and
you did warn me though. You said, "Listen, you've got one guy, and he's
I had him worthless. I had him last year, and we didn't really hit it off last year. I could tell, when you're caddying for a professional athlete, in my opinion, they go one of two ways: either they're prima donnas who don't take advice from anybody and they do everything themselves, or they can really play under a coach and a caddy, and they can take advice to heart and say, you know your craft better than I do, and I'm going to trust you. And unfortunately, this guy is cut from the former, and he does not want much help, and he gets something in his mind, and you can't get him the other way. And you handled him great, I thought. And I thought it went okay. I mean, it was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was well paid, and I gave the old. So I'm caddying for two people, of course. So the other dude I got on really, really well with. I thought I did anyway, and
it turns out you did. But
it turns out it did.
Yeah.
But you shake hands at the end, and it's the usual caddy. Oh yeah, it was a pleasure. And then they're like, oh yeah, you were great. And it's like bullshit. But
I hate you both.
we walked away. I'm nearly home. 5 minutes later, you call me, and I wasn't completely shocked at what you said, but you said that your player had called you and said, oh yeah, both Big G's players don't want him.
Correct. He called me and he said, hey, I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but just so you know, both players came up to me independently of each other and said they didn't like G. They didn't like the reads. Gave 5 or 6 bad reads each. Each.
Think about that.
And I was like, oh, God, okay, here we go. I'm like, all right, bro, I'll get somebody else for tomorrow.
Don't forget the ball that I didn't go looking for.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, and yeah, he wasn't really enthusiastic about looking for golf balls, and I was like, I didn't even know what he meant, but then G relayed to me what happened. I was like, oh, yeah, of course you're not going to go look for that ball, which was under 2 feet of mud.
Yeah.
It was sitting on top of the mud, but there's like a foot of mud underneath it. So
exactly.
Anyways, G gets sacked. They say we don't want the G, and they paid him well. I mean, they paid him well, and it's
well, it's like you were saying. How did it affect me? It's not happened to me many times over my sort of almost 30 years caddying. I can think of half a dozen.
It's a rarity. It's a rarity
because it takes a lot to get the sack. I did sleep that night, but I did replay a lot of the things because I'm going, whoa, 5 or 6 per person.
Yeah.
Because halfway through, I stopped reading Mr. NFL's putts anyway.
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, well,
as you should, because he didn't want help.
So there's no way that I got that many wrong.
Well, and then come to find out the next day, I'm caddying for him again. So it's a 3-day gig, and I'm caddying for him the second day. I bring the other caddy in, and my guy pulls me aside again. He's like, hey, man, really sorry to put you in a bad spot. Like I was telling you, they both came up to me, and they both told me they really didn't like him. And then the other dude who had no problem with you, pulled me aside and said, hey, just so you know, I didn't say any of that to him. I liked him just fine. When I come back to this resort, I'm going to ask for G and you both, so you know. He didn't have a problem with G at all. It was just the one guy.
How did the other caddy get on with Mr. NFL?
Oddly enough, on the first hole, he had like a 30-footer for birdie, and he was like, what do you think, caddy? He's like, left edge? And he was like, no, actually, it's inside right. He's like, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to trust you caddies. And he hits it inside right, and he makes it. He's like, all right, and they were off, and it was a love fest from there. But that's how it always works.
Meant to be.
That's how it always works.
Yeah. No, it was. But it's funny you say that. We've talked about golfers will understand this, how you're striping the ball 1 minute, you could be holing everything in the front 9, and then in the back 9, it falls apart.
It does.
And for a very, very short period of time, I thought, maybe I am rusty. I've been away, haven't carried in 5-6 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, whatever it is. But that didn't last for long because you know yourself. We all misread putts. But
nobody's immune.
I ain't misreading 5 or 6 per person, per round.
No.
Do me a favor. I was asking him a lot of questions like I would do with most people I work for. Mm-hmm. It's where I get most of my knowledge from in life. And I said to him, did you ever win the Super Bowl? No. I said, who were the best players you ever played with and against? And then I said to him, did you ever, and I think this is what sent him over the edge. I said to him, did you ever get the chance? Not even did you get the chance to play for the Raiders, right? Uh-huh. And he looked at me, kind of stopped. Yeah. And he looked at me. And I could see behind his glasses, he was like, just gives me that evil eye. And he's like, I did. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, so, I'm surprised you even tried to engage him. He's not a very engaging man to begin with.
Well, it was only a 2 or 3 holes that I tried, and then after that, it was done. So, have we ever asked about you being sacked before? You ever got the bullet?
I don't remember an instance that I have. I've certainly had groups that didn't ask me to go with them, and that I could clearly tell they weren't into me. And actually, I did get sacked by one guy. I remember it now. And actually, this guy's a member at Winged Foot. He's actually, and he paid super well, like ridiculous. And he played with the head pro there a lot, Mike Gilmore. Great guy, great player.
Gilmore?
No, Mike Gilmore. He's a really good player. And but anyway, so I caddied for this guy for a couple years, and then he kind of turned on me. Like it was weird. He was actually like, he's a smart guy. He's won a few World Series of poker bracelets. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's
that kind of narrows it down though, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I member at Wingfoot won a couple. Yeah, you could probably Google it and find out. But anyways, so he gave me the sack. He's like, you know what, Mike? I think we're done here. And I was like, All right. And I mean, at that point, he was kind of getting angry at me for things, and I could tell like it was uncomfortable to be out there with him. So I was like, all right, fine, see you later. Little skin off my back.
It's funny that you say that because a couple of months ago, when my wee pal Mark Crane, currently carries for Alex Norton,
good loop.
We recorded an episode with him. He's coming back out, so we might update that because they've done quite well since that episode was recorded. But he's obviously been sacked 2 or 3 times or was it one? Maybe just twice. I can't remember what it was. But it's so funny for them. So I've come across people before that maybe I no longer work for them, or they no longer call me at the resort, but they're maybe there once a year, once every 2 years. And it's like ships in the night. You sometimes don't see them. I've always, some other caddies feel uncomfortable because you maybe pulled them onto the job.
Yeah, that happens.
It never bothers me because say you get 2 requests like you did. The guy that called you or you said that, 2 calendars, sorry mate, can't make it. He might have got a new caddy that he likes.
No, I passed him along. I passed it on to Fish, and they got along swimmingly, and I guarantee you I never hear from the guy again because he knew what the deal was.
So that's what happens.
And he paid him better than he paid me normally. So it was probably a dig on me, which good on him because I still got paid and so did he. So
we don't have to see them. But what I was talking to Craney was when you get sacked on tour.
Oh yeah.
The following week.
Yeah.
You might even be paired with them. And that's I was asking him about that sort of whole dynamic because that's really interesting. And one of the guys that he sacked him had a really hard time, sort of severing ties with him.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a different ball game out on tour because when you get sacked out there, which happens very very frequently, it hurts more because you're getting sacked off of potentially a lot of money.
Yeah,
and then like you lose a pretty good bag or a potential for good bag. You don't know your next bag. You might not have a bag right away, and you might get a lesser bag. There's a big difference from caddying for a player that's 120th in the world to caddying for a player that's 857th in the world. That's a big difference and a lot of money week in and week out.
Well, you'll tend to find as well, just like we said, when Mr. NFL got a new caddy on day 2, he first putt, he holds it birdie. You take Shane Lowry when he won the Open at Portrush. That was the first week with his caddy.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what the previous caddy. Because I remember when I get sacked by Coulthard, the following week I think he finished 2nd.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens.
And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, that could." Yeah. So
that's why those guys switch caddies sometimes because it's a refresher for them, and sometimes it does help them.
Interesting. Well, Mark had his own analogy about that, which I'll upload that episode, in the next month or so. Either a fresh one or the one we did back in December. Do you have anything else that you want to add in the Caddie Stories section?
No, I got a lot that we can talk about in the shout-outs at the end. But
excellent. Okay, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the first in our series of how to improve your game from a caddy. Right, that's us telling you how to improve your golf game. So that's coming up next. 4! If you do any sort of social media, you need to start following us. It's not under the Real Life Caddy podcast. It's under Glorified Donkey. So Instagram, which in all fairness, in my opinion, is worthless.
But follow anyway.
You'll get a lot more interaction in Twitter. There's no longer the TikTok. Get rid of that.
Did you?
Trash. Absolute trash.
I tell you what, I don't really do any of them anymore except Twitter. I love Twitter.
Twitter's fun. Twitter's good. You get a lot of, there's some people out there that are just off their rocker.
Yeah.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Glorified Donkey.
Follow.
Get a
Give
follow
us a
in there.
follow.
So we move on. As I said earlier on, chipping advice is going to be the first part of this series of how to improve your golf game from a caddy's point of view, because I think we're kind of experts in the game.
I agree. And chipping is so crucial. I mean, I would say the majority of golfers can get it around the green in regulation. Most players aren't hitting greens regularly, but they can get it around the green. So you got to be able to chip the ball where you can make a putt.
I think I read a stat once that regardless of the standard of your golf, okay, you could be a pro, you could be Johnny Hack, 75% of your strokes are from 125 yards in.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, if you play where Zabbo plays at the par 3 course, they're 100%.
Oh, come on.
Actually,
come on.
we could narrow that down to about 43 yards. So
48.
48.
48, and it was a beautiful shot.
But, so we're going to, every third episode, I think, we're going to move through these. We decided to go with chipping, and I'll tell you why. That famous loop that the big G gets sacked from Mr. NFL last week, well, that loop before things went down, Zabbo had a conversation with his player. Okay, so I'll paint a picture of the hole. It's a par 4. I think your man's there, short the green in 3, and it's a kind of a plateau green.
It was,
and he says, "I want," no, but it's a gradual uphill. Let's say that pins at the back, and it's a gradual uphill.
Plenty of green to work with. And
he goes, "Give me my 60."
Mm-hmm.
You need to realize, if you want a 60 from, we'll call it 60 feet, 35 yards, somewhere in there.
I'm about right.
That's probably about 25 yards, right? And you said, what, you're going to throw it all the way to the hole? Because that's the only way to play a 60 degree.
Yeah, why?
Why? So the first point that we want to make is you need to choose the right club for the right shot.
Exactly. You don't always need to hit your 60-degree wedge. There's very few tour pros even who do that. They chip with different clubs around the green. Some of them, yeah, they use exclusive, they're 56, 58, something like that. But more often than not, you will see those guys, and if they have massive amounts of green to work with, even those guys will use 8, 9 irons wedges to bump and run shots.
There is no way to play a pitch and run with a 60 unless you are straight downhill, it's fast, and you maybe just pop it in the green and the thing rolls out. That's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, you can play lower shots with your 60, but you're not playing a pitch and run with a 60. That doesn't happen.
Because you have to then close the face.
Play it.
Because golf's all about trajectory. Chipping is all about trajectory. So choose the right club for the right shot. Look at the topography. Now, that's a very intelligent way of saying the green, the land.
Yeah, sounds better.
This guy that Zabbo had absolutely no right to be having a 60 in his hand. He needed, what would you have given him?
Oh, he would have hit like a pitching wedge, maybe a 9 iron.
Pitching wedge 9.
He's a 15 handicap. There is no reason you should be hitting a 60-degree wedge from that spot ever.
Yes,
ever.
Unless there's an object in the middle. Right, a
Correct.
bunker.
Unless you have
water.
to flop it, you're hitting it into a downhill. I mean, yeah.
Which will be a later episode. We'll talk about how to flop a shot. The reason we're talking about choose the right club for the right shot is we want, if you're a high handicapper, you want to try and keep the ball as low to the ground as possible. So if you can't putt it, there's no point trying to throw the ball. Because you're just not that good. There's a reason you're a 28 handicap.
Yes. More often than not, you're going to catch it fat or hit it thin, and you're going to be just as far away from the holes you already are.
Yes. So you would be you're with me in this, yeah? You're big.
Yes.
Sort of 7, 8, 9 wedge.
Yes.
Maybe even a 56 or a 52.
Yeah, depending on the situation.
I would actually say depending on the distance.
Yeah, that too.
Now I was always taught with a pitch and run, like a pitch shot, you want to land it about a third of the way and let it run out 2/3.
Yeah.
40%, 60%, 30, 70, but somewhere in about there. Yesterday, remember we had Mitch Rigsby?
Yeah.
And he's on the green at number 5, and you can't putt it.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those with
I
the green
told him,
cuts
like,
in.
what are you going to do there? I was like, you can't putt it close.
Yeah.
You have to chip it.
And he goes, I think I'll putt it. And I went, no, take an 8 iron.
Yeah.
And I says, and pitch it. So land it a third of the way, and I show him where a third of the way is. Of course, where does he land it? He carries everything. He lands it like 80%.
He made a mess of that.
And then he kind of blames me. Oh, it was my fault. Oh, it's why I didn't want to do that.
I could have made a 4 with my putter.
Did you see me do it?
No, I didn't.
I did it, knocked to 5 feet. You said you couldn't do that again. I said I could do it all day, mate.
Yeah, get out
but
of here.
the point being, we don't. I don't always want to talk people too much into a shot. So if it's a 7-iron, I'll maybe go and they want to hit 60. Well, let's meet someone in the middle and hit a pitching wedge.
Yeah.
But there's a time and a place to use a 60.
There is, and most of the time it's not when you think. That's the problem with most amateurs is that. Well, that's what I always do. I don't want to take out of my comfort zone. Well, if that's what you always do and you're not having success, maybe we try something else and we try to be successful. You've always tried this and you fail at it. 90% of the time you fail. Yeah, that 10% of the time you hit it to 2 or 3 feet, but the other 90%, you're 30 feet away from the hole when you were just 40 feet away from the hole.
That was so. Sometimes I wish I could record our conversations that we actually have in the course because that you made me laugh when you just said, "Oh, I'm just sick of these guys."
I am.
Year after year after year.
Get better. You suck. There's no reason for you to suck that bad.
You just get bored of being so bad at golf and I honestly, how many strokes are we going to take off someone's game by we're not even sending someone to the range. We're not saying, "Hey, head off to the range for 2 hours a week and play this pitch shot." We're just saying, don't always think about what club you're going to use.
Yeah. Although going to the range is going to help a lot too. Getting the reps in, don't get me wrong, getting reps in is going to help you tremendously.
Now, we could go into ball possession, etc. I would always, if I'm playing a pitch and run, I'm going to have the ball a little more off the back foot.
100%.
And why is it on the back foot?
Hit it lower. Yeah, leading edge, hit it lower.
I was actually looking at it because the weight's going to be forward.
Yeah. Well, the weight is always forward. Flop shot, bump and run on any pitch shot, any bunker shot. And most amateurs do not do this, and they fail at these shots because their weight is either on their back foot, they're transferring their weight. The majority of that weight should be on your lead foot.
This is why we need to get on YouTube, and we're going to have a massive argument about bunker shots. And
well, yeah,
shots,
there are some
weight.
different trains of thought on bunker shots. Nobody will argue with any sort of pitch, bump and run, anything. Your weight's always left there. People do argue on bunker shots.
Okay,
but
that's fair enough.
I am the left foot or lead foot school of thought on bunkers.
Yeah. So there we go. We're only 10 minutes in, right? We're not going to go too much more because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to give 2 or 3 bullet points here. So weight forward, ball position slightly back, and most importantly, choose the right club for the right shot.
Correct. And you know, here's the thing too. A lot of people are happy with where they're at. So if you're happy with where you're at, keep doing what you're doing. But the thing that drives me nuts is the people who get frustrated and are not happy with where they're at, but still play 3 or 4 times a week and they don't try to improve. That's what we're saying. If you're not happy with where you're at, try to improve. Do something.
I got to be honest though, I think every single person that listens to this podcast that is a golfer, is an active golfer, is probably going to go, "Oh, I do that," or we're onto something.
Well, I hope that's true. I hope people try to improve because you don't need to suck as bad as you do.
Yeah, do you honestly think someone's out there that shoots 104? Like even Big Tony, right? Mm-hmm. Whose game has gone is like used to be an 8 handicap. It was half decent. I've seen him be under par through 9 holes.
That's crazy.
And break 75.
Wow.
And now his game is an absolute abortion.
It's crazy, and he plays too. I know. We gotta go out with Tony.
I'm seeing him hitting the driver 100 yards to the right.
Jeez.
Right, that's total distance, right and forward. He wants to improve. I can't imagine there's anyone that plays this game that is happy where they're at shooting 100. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. I mean, but
so this is for anyone out there. Honestly,
it is.
Choose the right club for the right shot. What am I trying? How about that? We didn't even think about it. Think about what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like actually, visualize the shot.
Yeah.
How about
Chase
that?
and day it.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. Look at the shot you want to hit, and then attempt it.
I always think with chipping around greens, and again, this doesn't have to be like a pitch and run. It could be a little bump, a pitch shot. Try and visualize where you're going to land the ball. Think about how high is it going? Because we get asked that all the time. We say,
where should I land?
Where should I land this?
Well, it depends how high you're going to hit it. You're always taking the 60. I don't know why we're going to skull it low. If you skull it low, you don't want to hit it here. But if you're going to hit it more, I mean, where do I land it? Come on, bro. You got to be smarter than that. That's like the dude who blasts it 10 feet by and then looks at you and says, "That didn't break."
Yes,
bro. Come on. Do I need to give you a physics lesson?
That's a brilliant. You know what? Poorly. I poorly prepped for this again because we're coming up with great stuff as we go through the section. But visualize, where am I going to land this? Because so many people they don't even think about what they're doing.
They do not.
I would say that I play less golf than I did 10 or 12, 15 years ago. I feel as if I'm a better golfer because I caddy so much. Because I'm trying to tell people, this is where I want you to drop it. We're trying to predict what the ball is going to do. It's like snooker or pool or something. You're trying to predict where, if you hit it off that cushion and that cushion, or you put this amount of spin on it, where am I going to end up with the ball? So there we go. I love that. So let's round things off here. I think there's 5 points we made.
Weight on the left foot.
Weight on the left foot, folks. Ball position more to the back of the stance.
Right club. Don't always hit your 60.
Don't always hit your 60.
Mix it up.
Yeah, choose the right club for the right shot. Visualize,
yeah. See what you're going to do and do it.
And that's it. So what we want you to do is go out there, try it, try some of these tips, and then email us podcast@glorifieddonkey.com or on one of the social media platforms. And let us know if you've tried these and if your game has improved. But I would imagine that someone who is a 24 handicap by doing some of this.
Oh, definitely. And tell you what, you give me a half an hour once a week for a month, guarantee you're going to be exponentially better at chipping. Yeah. Exponentially.
I had this idea about this series for a long time based upon an 8 handicapper. I gave him one piece of advice, which meant nothing about going to the range, no practice. It was just one piece of caddy advice, and he went from an 8 to a 6 in about 2 months, 3 months.
There you go.
And that's why I thought about this. So there ain't, if you're a 24 handicapper and you follow some of these rules here, or rules, but some of this advice, you will become a 20. You will break into the teens. Because here's the thing. How many 24 handicappers, 20 handicappers, 16 handicappers hit every green and don't have to chip?
None.
You're a 16 for a reason.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Excellent. Now, Zabbo, we need to move on. Next up, mailbag questions and some notable mentions. 4! Like I said in the last section, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, you can email them in podcast@glorifieddonkey.com or on the social media. Now we have...
Send us some good ones. This is like one of my favorite aspects of the podcast. I love mailbag questions.
And listener interaction.
Yeah, it's fun. Give us some good questions.
Questions or topics.
Yeah.
Topics.
Exactly.
What do you want us to talk about? We're here for you. You know, people always say the Caddie Stories is their favorite part of this podcast.
Oh, we got some good ones coming. There's been some stuff that's happened.
Maybe you get some good stuff. Now, we're going to kick off here. This is from Adam Steller, and he is in Houston, Texas, right? And he says, as a looper, what can the players you are working with do to make things easier for you? Any advice for golfers to make the experience better for both themselves and the caddy? And what are the biggest annoyances for you when you were on the bag for someone? Oh, wow. That's like Pandora's box right there. So, first off, what can the players you're working with do to make things easier for you?
I mean, what's the number one answer that you're going to get from
Carry their own clubs.
Well, I was definitely going to say something along that path, but the number one complaint from caddies is lighten your damn golf bag. Yeah. Get your bag. You don't need half the shit you have in your golf bag. Get it light. There's no reason to carry 250 tees. There's no reason to carry more than 6 golf balls. I mean, just get your bag light.
I had an epic match with Junior this morning, and we played with another guy who will remain nameless. Total hack, like just dangerous.
Did you invite him to play? Or
yeah. He's a pal of mine, but he's an absolute menace, a total deviant.
Gotcha.
He's the guy that shouldn't play 18 holes. His attention span is too short.
Gotcha. Well, how did your match end up?
I was 5 up through 5, and then
Wait. No, I know how this one ends. He doesn't win, I can guarantee, because nobody says I won. If he won, he would have just said I won. He said I was 5 up through 5. So
I was 5 up.
What happened?
I was 5 up through 5, and on the 6th tee, I said, if I win the next 5, I'll beat you 10-8.
Oh, here we go.
The game ended up square.
Of course it did.
So.
Getting ready for our big match next month.
Yeah, next month. I can't wait for that. Going back to Stellar's question here, right? Let's try and remain professional here.
Yeah.
Working, what can we do to make things easy? I told a player yesterday, he says, how's my bag? I says, well, it's all right. And he says, what could it be better? I says, yeah, we could take, you and your mate could just play out the one bag.
True, yeah. You guys could just share clubs. I could carry one bag, yeah.
If you're going on a golf trip and you're taking a caddy, whether it be 1 day or 4 days, only take in the bag what you need for 18 holes. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Don't bring an umbrella if it's not going to rain.
Yeah.
Don't bring a pair of shoes.
Seriously.
Don't bring a bunch of golf balls. Only bring, 4, 6, 8, maximum of what you think that you will need. Straps.
Straps. Oh, straps are key.
If you have if it's going to be single bagging, not a problem. Double strap is going to work. It's fine. If you have if there's 2 players for one caddy like we do, pretty much 95% of the time, the straps. I saw you with one yesterday. I'm sorry.
Garbage. PXG bag. I mean,
it's rubbish.
They don't make golf bags. It's just not a good bag.
Garbage.
Advice for golfers to make the experience better for both them and the caddy.
Tip them fat.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Tip them fat.
Treat them with respect. Be nice to them. We had one yesterday. The group in front of us, he yelled back at me. We're on the 3rd hole, Cody, and he goes, Mr. Caddy, Mr. Caddy, Mr. Caddy. I go, yes, Mr. Golfer. Yeah, it's like calling Caddy. Just be respectful. Say excuse me.
Excuse me. I didn't even look at the guy. I didn't have to react to it. I just
Caddy,
knew
Caddy.
That was going to get under Zabbo's skin.
Oh, God. Nothing worse than calling me Caddy.
They said that the pins were going to be number 2. It looks like they're like number 3 to me.
That was a front pin on 2. It's supposed to be pin number 2, and it wasn't pin number 2. That was supposed to be back.
Oh, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
First world problems.
Stop whining.
I think here's it says for both themselves and the caddy, what can make advice for golfers to make the experience better for both themselves and the caddy. Trust your boy.
Yeah.
Why are you paying him?
Don't question him. Don't say, are you sure?
Oh, don't ever say,
are you sure? Well, I've seen it 2,000 times. How many times have you seen it?
In all fairness, though, Zabbo, we are talking about ourselves here, people of pedigree. And
yeah, but still, I mean, you're hiring a caddy. You're questioning their expertise by saying, Are you sure? Do you know about this? Like, have you seen this before?
But maybe they're a duck. Maybe it's Cody that you've got in your bag. And all of it.
You got to watch out.
So what I would do, don't create. If you think your caddy's worthless, right? After a hole, maybe 2, it might not even take you that length of time. Don't get angry about it. Take his advice and do your own thing.
Yep.
Don't create an atmosphere. There's no point.
Do what you want.
It's your game. But to continually listen to somebody and then after 8 or 9 holes say, you know what, and don't let it ruin your day. How about that? Correct. Don't let a bad caddy ruin your day.
And what are the biggest annoyances? That's a good one. Oh, I got a whole laundry list of those. How about when they reach into the bag while it's on your shoulder and they're digging around there. Oh, just be a minute. I'll just be a minute. And they're like pushing it down. They're adding like 6-7 pounds of weight.
And then you say, I'll put it down. And they go, no.
I hate that.
Because you have to check your Instagram feed. Oh, I have to go live.
Yeah.
Those guys. It's not like they need the phone to call 911, is it? Yeah. That's not going to happen.
You got to go live. What about that beer that you left 30 yards back there that I've been carrying? That drives me nuts too.
Yeah.
Every green you walk off of, you leave your beer, and we talk about it every hole, but yet you still do it.
How can somebody paying? This is what I don't understand, right? Because maybe in Scotland people are cheap, or there's less. There's just less. It's like growing up behind the Iron Curtain in the communist countries compared to America. I don't think I've ever bought a beer, right, and not finished it unless the wife took it and poured it out or something. You know what I mean? Or knocked it over.
You know where it's at all times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm aware that I put that beer there and I'm going to get it. Yeah, don't worry about me.
Yesterday, it happened again.
Oh, yeah.
I usually give people 1, and that's it.
Yep.
I'll pick up your
Old
your
Mike.
beer.
We're throwing you under the bus, Mike.
We get one here from Scott Kinham, and he says, "Does Pete Maller still hold the record for most golf balls?"
Who's Pete Mallard?
Pete Maller. Now, Pete Maller, I believe, is from Montana, and I think Scott's his buddy, Scott Kinham.
Okay.
Does Pete Maller still hold the record for most golf balls in his bag during one of your loops?
Okay,
That's kind of an insider one.
Story.
This is a chap, Pete, nice lad, but he turned up and I counted the balls out in the 12th tee, and I think there were 35 in the bag, and there was one in his pocket and maybe one in his hand.
Wow.
So I gave him, we can imagine what I did.
Gave him the business, yeah.
Because I get to the 12th and I'm just going,
this is unnecessary.
This bag is super heavy. This is killing me. And
bottom heavy.
We go into it and boom, you look into that, right? And he's trying to fight his corner. So I give him a bunch of abuse about it. I says, you need to get these out for tomorrow. Go to the wee course the following day, right? He says, I took all the balls out. Go to the first tee. Pick the bag up. I'm like, what's those big containers for water?
Like the Smart Waters or?
No, like the metal container. You always lose 15 of them a year.
Like a
Yeti.
Yeah,
he's got one of those Yetis.
Big Yetis full of water.
Full of water.
Yeah.
And a small JBL speaker.
Oh, God.
So he's taken 3.5 pounds out and replaced it with 4.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
I don't let things go. I hold on to it and remind
Big
people.
G holds grudges.
No, I do. I hold him a grudge about that. But what do you? We can turn this into a little bit of advice. How many balls do you think should be in a golf bag?
Oh, I was going to say, have I seen more than that? I mean, I've never counted. I've had some that they put in boxes, like dozens, like 2 or 3 dozen balls I've seen in boxes, in bags. It's like, no, get out of here. But I think reasonably 6 balls. If you lose more than six balls, if you need 7 or 8, okay. But past that, come on, get out of here.
So the boy we played golf with this morning, he went into the pro shop. He said, "Oh, I need to get something." I said, "I'd already paid for his golf."
Uh-huh.
He went, "Oh no, balls," and I thought he meant range balls. He actually bought 2 dozen.
2 dozen?
2 dozen balls. I think.
Did he need them all?
By the way, I gave him at least a half dozen that I found and whatever. I think he probably lost 15 to 20 golf
Seriously?
balls. Oh, he's a menace, a total menace. He was hitting the ball sideways.
Does he get mad?
No.
No,
No.
hacks it and
he just
he's
hacks.
happy.
He'll stripe some good stuff, but he doesn't play enough and he doesn't really care. He just enjoys going out. But yeah, but we're on a golf cart. What is it? That's one thing. See, if we're just talking about if you have a walking caddy. When Adam's asking that question, what can you do? Listen, see if you're taking a golf cart.
Yeah.
Bring the wife. Do whatever you want. If you can,
she can drive the cart because I'm too lazy.
I was going to say if she can fit inside the bag. I don't. You know what I mean? But that's the bottom line. Number of golf balls. I would say if you are a single-digit handicap, the maximum number of golf balls. That's including the one you're playing and one in your pocket. There should be another 4, maybe 5 in the bag.
Yeah, definitely.
If you are a 10 to a 20, I would throw another sleeve in, maybe 3 more golf balls.
Wow. And
I think if you're above that, then we can start talking about having a maximum of 12 in the bag.
I mean, past a dozen, that's crazy. You losing 12 balls, I mean, that's crazy.
That's a lot of golf, but it does happen.
It does, depending on where you are, too. It depends on the course.
If you have a decent enough caddy, he's going to find you some golf balls anyway.
Exactly.
Next question. This is from Chang. G, I hate slow play. Yes. Not many people love slow play, do they?
No, can't stand it.
He says, one time we're playing behind a pretty slow group. They were at least 2 to 3 shots behind the group in front of them. I'm guessing he means, Jenkins means holes or shots.
2 to 3 shots would be weird. They were at least 2 to 3 shot behind the group in front of them.
I'm going to say there were 2 to 3 holes behind the group in front of them.
Yeah, probably.
We decided to jump ahead of them in a par 3. Ouch. But they got upset and told us that we couldn't do this.
Oh, really?
We didn't want to make a big issue. By jumping ahead of them, I guess, wasn't making them a big issue. But hey, we didn't want to make a big issue, so we just went back to playing behind them. Are we wrong in doing this? Also, we called the clubhouse to get a marshal to get them moving faster. What's the best way to encourage people to pick up the pace?
get the hell out of my way. I'm coming through. You let us play through. If you're 2 to 3 holes behind and you're on a par 3 and we come up on you, let us play through.
Yeah.
If you're on a par 4, let us play. If you're anywhere and you're 2 to 3 holes behind and we're pushing you, let us through. Sorry.
I know Chang's got a few quid in his pocket, so he could maybe pay them.
Exactly.
And his name's Chang, so
there you go.
A little bribe, perhaps. What I used to do, I used to walk up to people in the group ahead and say, "Excuse me, we're playing a big match. Any chance you could let us through?" Every single time, they'd step aside.
Well, there you go. Or you just start hitting into them. That always goes
over
well.
That's
hit one over their head.
That's going to go really well. The jumping ahead, it's kind of funny. Now this I've done this before. I've jumped ahead a group ahead before, both caddying and playing. Right.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to try and do in season 5 is use my words properly. Did that?
It's a big step for you.
I sound like man bun charcuterie. As I say, playing on my own or not with playing. This is
You've been drinking?
No, unfortunately not. So both caddying and playing, we've jumped ahead of a group on a par 3.
Yeah.
Or on a par 4. Do you know what's so funny about the slow group? All of a sudden they start playing fast.
Yeah. It's like when you're driving on the highway and they're in the high speed lane going slow, and then you try to pass them and then you speed up.
I'll be honest with you, the only way to encourage people to pick up the pace, you got to speak to the marshal. You tee off as early as possible.
Hit into them.
Zabbo says hit into them.
Hit into them and don't yell for.
Yeah, Chang. Well, his name's Chang. He probably does that anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's brilliant. So that's all of our mailbag questions for now. As I say, if you have anything you want to add, social media, Glorified Donkey, or email them in. Now, we move on to notable mentions. Zabbo, what you got?
Got a handful here. I got to shout out Troy Strawhecker, Jim, Mike, and Rob. Good to have them out. You actually threw me that job. Great guys. Troy has some tremendous stories. He knows everybody you can imagine. I mean, he's been all over the world, traveled the world with some singing groups, so he's got some stories. Hopefully he's going to get on this podcast and tell them. Got to shout out Zilikoski. Cody and I caddied for Zilikoski for
his name? No.
Zilikoski. Big Brian and even bigger Brian, Brian's a big dude,
big pussy.
No, he's not. And his sister's cousin, Brian Vecchio, listens to the podcast as well. He prime example of what I was talking about. Like he has the ability to be a scratch golfer, but yet his short game's holding him back. And I'm like, well, how often do you get out there and practice? He's like, well, I don't practice at all. I'm like, well, there you go. So I got to shout out Brian. Ken and Mike were there too. Those guys were like 6'7". It was crazy, huge, but good dudes. Good time with those dudes. Got to shout out Randy and Ryan Gilowich, father and son. Randy, I've caddied for years from Canada. They didn't come down for years because of COVID and travel restrictions. They were finally able to make it down, so it was good seeing them. Caddying for them. Also, last but not least, I got to shout out Richie in the pro shop at the big course, and I think you know why I'm shouting Richie out. So Richie, Cody, he gave me this flag from this little par 3 course that you know, and it was of the official hole number 5 where I made my hole in one. And
43 yards.
48. It's actually on the flag too. Thanks, Richie. He wrote the yardage on the flag, and he said it counts. The flag. I have the flag to prove it. Maybe you should post it. But thank you, Richie, for that. Thank you for the validation. And thank you for listening to the podcast.
I actually heard they're doing the national spitting contest at that hole this year.
Well, they're going to have a tough time because it's uphill and into the wind.
I have a few as well. Wee Terry McMaster, he's a greenkeeper at Turnberry. I used to work in Caddie with Terry. He listens to the show. So, Terry, keep on raking, my friend. I'll hopefully see you the next time I'm back. We got a Michael Park in New York City. He bought some hats from us about 2-3 weeks ago. And the reason he did it is because his mates, a guy called Mike Bingle, Connecticut.
That's a good name.
And a Shane Battier.
Shane Battier?
Yeah, he plays at Riviera.
Shane Battier? Like the basketball player?
Battier.
Yeah, that's Shane Battier. He played professional basketball for a number of years.
He plays at Riviera in Florida, right? It's not
not the real Riviera. He plays at the fake Riviera. I didn't say he was a Hall of Famer. I mean,
he might be basketball. I don't know. But then we have a Brendan Takas, right? He's a career caddy in Florida.
Nice. Where does he caddy at?
He never told me, but he's New York in the summer, so I'm guessing like Garden City or something like that.
Probably East Hampton or something
And then
like that.
he goes down to Florida in the winter. And he said, this is his bragging rights. He was the Florida State Golf Association junior champ, right? In 1995.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Brendan. Yeah. But, hey, listen.
Brandon, I got a hole-in-one on a 48-yard hole. Good.
I tell you, you and Zabbo had gone great. Holding on to that 28 years ago. Good for you. But hey, listen, no, he loves the podcast. And
awesome. Thanks for listening.
He said he's got loads of stories as well.
Oh, good. Maybe you can have them on.
1995. Love that. Dave Jones. That's our boy that's from Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
1550. His dog died. So he said, can you give my dog a shout out? His name was Sawyer.
That's a bummer.
And I have to say, shout out to Conroe Bob, who was out here for his 40th last year.
Say that again?
Conroe Bob.
So when you said that, it sounded like cornrow. He said Conroe Bob.
Conroe.
Not cornrow.
Conroe.
See, people would have misunderstood that and thought you said cornrow. It's Conroe.
Conroe Bob.
There you go.
Conroe Bob.
There you go.
Now, I told a guy yesterday that his golf shot was poor. And he said, oh, thanks. I went, he thought I said it was pure.
Yeah.
I said it was poor.
That's funny. That's like the guy that told me, he's like, hey, you ever played the Hammer before, Clint Eastwood's course? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, the Hammer. I'm like, you mean Tehama? He goes, oh, yeah, it could have been. It was some Asian guy was telling me about it. He was saying, the Hammer. I was like, yeah, it's not the Hammer, brother. It's Tehama.
That's brilliant. Yep. I forgot one here, boys. Blaine Turnbow.
My favorite name of all time. Next to Dick Pounds.
He's from Denver. He's a massive fan of the podcast. And he was actually texting the other day and he says, I'm jonesing for a new podcast.
Well, here you go. You're getting a shout out.
He says, I need to hear your take on Teagate.
Oh, God.
So that's the situation between Rory McIlroy. Oh, it's incredible footage. Absolutely incredible.
Here's my take. Reed's a moron and Rory's an idiot. Case closed. They're both idiots.
I think it shows how weak the game of golf is, how little there is goes on.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I've been saying for a long time, where the powers that be are trying to turn golf into this really cool sport that it's not.
Well, there's some truth to that.
Trying to modernize it, and this is the big talking point, is if you didn't see it, it's called Teagate because everything's gate.
It's funny you say that because when I saw the video before, like I heard about the incident, I thought to myself, I said they're gonna call this Teagate. That's what I thought to myself right away. And sure enough, video came out and here's Teagate.
Basically, Patrick Reed walks up to McIlroy on the range in Dubai.
Yeah, he shakes Harry's hand, and then it's like, hey, Rory, what's going on? And Rory just doesn't look up, and he's looking at his shoes or whatever, and he flicks a tee at him.
He flicks something or chewing gum or something. Yeah. And the whole world of golf is going bananas over this. That's how,
slow day.
Slow day, slow week. So there you go, Blaine. Thanks for listening. We don't really have much there. Absolute trash, garbage. Hopefully we get some decent golf. You know what? Let's just see Live Golf versus PGA Tour when it comes to the match. That was that other rubbish in December.
Yeah.
Oh, garbage.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be more fun, I think, to watch the Masters now. Now that the Masters have said we're actually going to get to see in the majors the best players in the world play. Because before, if they ban them, you were not going to see some of the best players play, and now you are. I wouldn't love to see a Live guy win, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I could see it happening, mate.
Cam Smith. I would never bet against him.
Yeah. Grand. Okay. Well, listen, I think that's us for just now. If there's anyone we missed, we'll get you in the next episode. Cody, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Cody.
Zabbo's always, thank you for your time.
Of course.
We'll have played our match by the next time we have our episode 104.
Really? We're not going to do another episode before that?
Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do it that week. The big match. People have been waiting for this forever. Get your money, get the bets on. Vegas is opening betting. So we look forward to that. Zabbo, thanks for your time anyway.
You're welcome.
Listeners, many thanks for your support. Do us a massive favour. Rate and review it, and why not share it? Let's have a massive season 5 going forward in 2023. If it's 2024 and you're only just starting listening, hope you're enjoying it. Anyway,
check out our Patreon account too.
Yeah, check out the Patreon account. Yeah, it'll be up and running by then. even we'll get that together. But it was a pleasure. Thank you for listening. More importantly, though, get out there and improve your golf game this year.